Message for today: you can be both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time, right? Because when you were created perfectly, just the way that you are. And I know that they say that no one is perfect but God. But it also says that whatever God created, he said was good. And when God created you, he said that you were good, just the way that you are. You're not broken. You know, you don't need to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with you. The only thing is that you have to find you again. You know, the person that you are intended to be. You know, when we're small and we're children, there's certain things that we love, there's certain behaviors that we have, there's certain thought processes. And as we grow and we learn and, you know, we're around certain people and we're in certain situations, we are kind of taught that certain parts of us aren't good or aren't desirable, or that we shouldn't do certain things, right? And, you know, we become ashamed of certain parts of our own selves, certain parts of our beings. And so we start to mask these things. We start to hide them. We start to try to change our behaviors, you know, and it changes who we are as people, you know, when we're not being fully ourselves, right? And we go through this for, you know, periods of time. And then one day, you know, we start trying to heal. And what we're actually doing is getting back to where we were when we originally started as children. We're learning to reclaim and accept those parts of ourselves that we were taught that weren't good or weren't desirable or were wrong or needed to be fixed, right? We spend our whole lives trying to get back to the place we were so desperate to get away from, right? But when you can be yourself unapologetically and fully, you know, you're walking in your purpose. You are the person that you are intended to be. But you don't have to wait until then to feel like you are a masterpiece, because you already are. Everything about you is already beautiful. It's already perfect, right? You just might have to fine tune some things, right? So, you know, we might see like a beautiful painting, right? But over time, it has become dull and dirty and it faded out. And then, you know, someone comes along who appreciates this art and decides to restore it and bring it back to its natural beauty, you know, and that beauty never left. That beauty was always there. It just needed to be rediscovered, restored, right? And that's what we need to do. We need to rediscover these parts of ourselves and restore these parts of ourselves and reclaim these parts of ourselves so that we can be unapologetically who we were intended to be, so that we can walk fully and completely in our purpose, right? But don't think that the person that you are now isn't worthwhile, isn't beautiful, isn't a masterpiece, because you are, you know. And the person that you are now, without that person, you know, you can't grow to become that person that you are intended to be, right? You have to be grateful and thankful for the person who you are now if you want to be able to grow into the person that you are meant to become, right? So don't feel down on yourself if you're not exactly where you want to be right now, you know, or you're not exactly what you want to be, or you're not in the shape that you want to be in. Because Every new day is a new opportunity for you to, get into shape, for you to get those things, for you to do those things. Every day is a new opportunity for you to get back to you. But remember that, that masterpiece that you wish to be is already inside of you. You just have to rediscover it. So thank you for tuning in. Much love, blessings, and abundance to you all. And I'll see you soon.